Hello student, welcome to today's science class. Students, in last video we see about the adaptation. What is the adaptation? A gradual changes occur in the body parts and also in the behavior of the organisms which help them to adjust to their surroundings. Such changes are called adaptation. They are take place over a long period of time. This is the definition of adaptation. In today's video, we learn about the adaptation in the aquatic plant and adaptation in desert plant. Now, if you visit the various water bodies such as a river, pond, lake in your surrounding, you see the plants which is grow on the water. That plants we call the aquatic plants. Some of the aquatic plants are firmly rooted in the soil at the bottom of the water bodies. Their stems are submerged while the leaves and the flowers float on the surface of the water. However, some plants are entirely afloat. Their roots are not anchored in the soil. The surface of leaves and stems of many aquatic plants are covered with a waxy layer. With for that the if the waxy layer present on the leaf, so what happen? The water easily flow from that leaf. Leaves of some aquatic plants are thin and slender like a ribbon. This shape helps them to withstand fast currents of water. Airspace in the stems and the petioles of the aquatic plants are useful for floating in the water. So here aquatic plants, the plants which floating on the water, these are the spongy, soft and float on the surface of the water. And what is the example? Lotus. That is the most rarely example we can give for the aquatic plants. Water lily is also there. Then next, we talk about previously the leaves covered with a waxy layer, so that the water droplets, we can see the water droplets on the leaf. Aquatic plants are firmly rooted in the soil at the bottom of the water bodies. The surface of leaves and the stems of many aquatic plants are covered with a waxy layer, and the air spaces in the stems and petioles of aquatic plants are useful for floating in the water. Here student, what is the mean of petiole? So the leaf which is connected with the stem, that is the petiole. So what is the use of this petiole? What is the use of this petiole? The petiole is the stalk that attach the leaf blends to the stem. Okay. So here in your book, some questions are there. Use your brain power. So what is that question? The first one is, why does water trickle off lotus leaves? So lotus is an aquatic plant and that has a coating of waxy layer on its stem and leaves. If water falls on the leaves, it is not absorbed but get trickled down. Okay. Second question is there. You can see here. Second question is there. Why don't the leaves of these plants rot in water? The leaves of aquatic plants have the waxy coating on them. There are no stomata on the leaves, and thus the water cannot enter the leaves. Therefore, the leaves do not rot in the water. And the third question, why are their roots short and fibrous? Why the aquatic plants' roots are short and fibrous? The main function of roots is to hold the plant firmly and to absorb water and minerals for the plants. Both of these functions are not needed for the plant like lotus which floats on water. Therefore, their roots are short and fibrous. Here, the petioles of the stem of the aquatic animal have the air spaces. Why? The air space in the petiole and the stem, it helps the plant to float on the water. Therefore, as an adaptation to survive in water, the aquatic plants have such structure. Okay. So next, adaptation in the desert plant. Here, take two potted plants, one a cactus and the other a leafy plant. Tie the plastic bag loosely around the leaves of these plants and keep them in a sunlight from early in the morning. In the afternoon, bring those pots into the classroom and observe them, and then you can differentiate between them. Okay. So here what happened? Has the same quantity of water collected in the both bag? Are the both bag collected the same quantity of water? What is the reason for that? The bag collecting the water. What is the reason for that? Actually, adaptation in desert, desert plants are either leafless or either leaves are like a small needles or have been modified into thorns. As a result, they lose very little water by evaporation. The stems store water and the food and is therefore fleshy. The stems are green as they perform photosynthesis in the absence of leaves. Their roots penetrate deep into the soil and some roots spread away into the soil in search of water. There is a thick layer of a waxy substance on the stems of these plants too. Okay, so what is the adaptation in the desert here? Some plants have the horizontal root system just below the surface. Some plants have the long tap roots to reach the underground water. Small leaves or spines, glossy and waxy leaves are reduce the water loss. Seeds can stay dormant for years but can germinate quickly when it rains, and some plants store water in their roots, stem, leaves or fruits. These are called succulent plants, okay, which store the water inside the stem, leaves, roots, like this. So here, cactus adaptation. What is the characteristic of here cactus? Large stems that can store water, thick waxy skin to reduce the water loss through the spores. So here, how can the plants like the cactus and acacia lives in the desert with the scarce water, with the little water, how they can live? Cactus are the plants that grow in the desert. They show the adaptation to survive in the less water. Cactus does not have the leaves. Leaves are modified into the thorns. Therefore, water is not lost by the evaporation through leaves. The stem take up the function of photosynthesis and hence turns the fleshy and green. There is a thick layer of waxy substance on the stems. Root of these plants penetrate deep down into the soil in search of water, and all such adaptation help the cactus to survive in the desert area with the little water. Here, what we learned, the adaptation in the desert plant. Desert plants are either leafless or their leaves are like a small needle or have been modified into thorns. The stems are fleshy as the water and food is stored in them. Modified stems perform the photosynthesis and hence they are green. Deeply penetrating roots that search the water and thick layer of a waxy substance on the stem. So here in today's video we learn adaptation in the aquatic plant and adaptation in the desert plant. In next video we see about the adaptation in plants of the snowy region, adaptation in plants of forest region, and adaptation in plants that is grassland plants. Okay, thank you very much.